What are you working on this week?
I am working on the feeder.
I am working on the prototype collector.
Same deal?
Yep.
Okay. Spinning up.
You messed it up. Go. Go for it. Go for it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, I'm good.
3, 2, 1.
Lift your box up a little bit.
Okay, go.
3, 2, 1.
Tip it down. The end of your box up a little bit. Oh god.
Enabling.
All right. Well, we just caught the end. We just caught the end of the gear manipulator there. That was pretty neat. So that was a pretty dope video, guys. I got to say, looks like a lot of cool stuff happened. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves? We'll start from the left to the right.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm co-captain. I machine things.
Very cool.
I'm Nico Nethery, and I'm a part of the build team.
I'm David Kelly, and I'm also part of the build team.
I'm Debbie Gruge, and I'm also part of the build team.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to Check-In, guys. Glad you could be here today. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys have done so far this build season. We've got about a week down. And so I'm sure you guys have come up with some sort of strategic priorities. We know last week you guys were working on them and you were pretty close. Can you guys recap what exactly your plan is for your season as far as your robot's concerned?
Yeah, our big strategy the whole game is going to be a good gear collector and placer and to be an awesome shooter, basically.
Okay, so so being good at gear collecting and being awesome at shooting, what's the difference there? How does that drive what you guys are going to design and build in the coming weeks?
Well, we're basically focusing on shooting right now. So like you saw in the video there, we had a lot of videos of testing shooting and collecting and just only very little stuff on gears right now. I think we're really focusing on ball handling instead of gears. Okay,
that makes sense. So do you think that the ball handling part's the more difficult challenge of this, or do you think
we think it's more important than the gears.
All right, cool. So how did you guys come about to these decisions? Did you guys come up in a group meeting, or was there a smaller group of you guys that came up with the priorities for your whole team, or how did that work?
This year it was the whole team that went over all the priorities and what to do. Usually we like to go over our strategy as a team rather than as a small group, so that everybody has their opinion as to what they want to do this year and how they want to handle it.
Okay, cool. So now that we know kind of what your general plan is, what is your guys' plan for the whole build season? Do you guys have a day like you want to get the robot done? Are you going to any like week 0 events, or what's the rest of the season look like from a general perspective?
Right now, we're working on basically making the design in CAD and prototypes out of wood, and just making multiple designs and testing them and seeing what works best. And as we progress through the season and get more ideas and see what works best, we'll eventually finalize our designs and make final CAD, and then start machining the drivetrain, and then putting pieces and parts together, and hopefully by bag time have it all put together and ready for season.
Cool. So you guys mentioned that you're CADing the whole robot. Is that the plan? Is this the first time you guys have done this, or have you done this in the past?
We've CADed the robot every year, but what's different is we're using Onshape instead of SolidWorks, because Onshape is cloud-based and it's free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. I don't want to turn this into a plug for Onshape, but can you just sort of give us a real quick description of what Onshape is? Because I'm sure there are a lot of folks who don't know what that is.
So Onshape is a cloud-based online CADing software. Well, not really software, because it's through like Google Chrome or Firefox.
Oh, that's pretty dope. Nice.
Yeah, it's very convenient sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, I'll let you know that all CAD softwares have their little gremlins, so don't worry about Onshape having those too. All right, cool. So now that we kind of have an idea of what your plan is in that, do you guys hope to have your robot done early to do some testing, or do you think you guys are going to be trying your hardest to get it finished right before the last day?
We're going to continue testing and hopefully have it all done by the last day, but maybe it'd be great to have it done a few days before, and be able to get comfortable with it and have it all ready for season.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think we're planning on having maybe a week or 4 days or whatever to have the robot together and let programming team actually, get used to it, make code for it.
That'd be awesome. So do you guys build 2 robots? I know some teams do, but you guys are probably not a team that would immediately come to mind as one that would build 2 robots. Is that what you guys are doing this year, or?
Yeah, we've built a robot. We built 2 robots since Recycle Rush.
Oh.
So this year we're building 2 robots again.
So for those of you guys who've been on the team before, do you think this is a big advantage to have 2 robots, or?
Yeah, it allows build team to take 1 robot, adjust all the mechanical stuff, and then have program team have the other one at the same time, and then they can code it, fix bugs, all that stuff, and then after a day or 2, we'll actually switch the robots and change what was on the other one.
Oh, okay. That's a good strategy.
So that they're always the same.
Okay, cool. So now that we're getting into the actual nuts and bolts of the robot, let's talk a little bit more about what you guys have prototyped this week. We saw some stuff in your video that you showed us earlier. What are the prototypes you guys have built so far?
So far, we have a prototype for an elevator. We actually have 2. One that you did not see in the video at the beginning. We have a floor gear collector, a shooter, and a floor ball collector. So
let's talk about each of those individually a little bit. Let's talk about the elevator, because I'm not quite sure what you mean by an elevator. Are you guys like lifting? What are you lifting exactly?
We want to use it to enable to grab the balls from our container where the balls will be stored and lift them up to the shooter to be fired into the boiler, because our shooter is higher than where the ball, because gravity is going to pull the balls down into the elevator and up into the shooter.
Okay, cool. So it's less of like a grain elevator and more like it's less of like a passenger elevator, more like a grain elevator moving.
Yeah, you saw it in the video. It was the thing with the 4 timing belts on it.
Okay, cool.
It was towards the beginning.
All right.
And we've actually changed from timing belts because we found that in the middle of the timing belts, the balls don't have much compression, so they can't move up very easily.
I think we saw that in the video where the balls were kind of sort of hanging out right in the middle and not quite going up. So what did you guys do to fix that?
We changed to, instead of having timing belts, we have 4 rollers with a grippy material that grabs the balls and pushes them up to the next roller and then up to the next one. It's 4 in a row, and it gets them up high enough to the shooter.
Cool. All right, so let's talk. Let's go on a little bit more about the other prototypes you guys have. So we saw, I got to say, lots of balls being shot out from your robot, especially all at once. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about that?
So right now we have a shooter that we're focusing on using a drum, like a hex head shaft with a set of wheels.
Just basically a bunch of wheels all put on a shaft. It's just a huge drum. It's pretty heavy. It's like 5 pounds.
Oh, holy crap!
Yeah, and we actually used our old shooters from last year because they had 775 pros on them. So, and those are pretty fast. We used 2 of those, so it's basically like 1 horsepower.
Wow, that's a lot of power.
Yeah.
Did you guys try it with less power at some point, or did you just immediately go full?
Well, it wasn't full power. When we tried it, in the video you saw, it was at 60% power.
Oh, so why didn't you go whole hog? I feel like that would be like really cool.
Well, at the time, the shooter was it was basically just wood, and the shooter itself was only being held up by like 2 screws.
It also wasn't very secure to the table.
It wasn't very secure to the table.
Okay, well, I guess
we didn't want to explode things.
I agree with you. So, kind of about that, you mentioned your shooter's made of wood. I see a lot of wood going on with your prototypes here. Is there a reason behind that?
It's easier to use, honestly.
Okay.
It's just a lot easier to say, just put a screw into 2 pieces of wood rather than with metal. You have to drill a hole and then you have to get bolts.
That's true. That's true.
Just to prove concepts until we can finally say this idea is what we want to do.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have like a wood shop available for you to do this stuff with, or?
Yeah, we do. We have a wood shop and a metal shop.
Oh.
So when we're actually ready to make the final robot, we also have a mill and a lathe, so we can machine the whole robot in-house.
So I want to hear a little bit more about the shooter. This shooter is like very wide. It's like you said, 5 pounds of wheels basically wide. I think a lot of the shooters we've seen on the internet so far have been kind of like narrow single wheels, double wheels. Why'd you go wide?
10 wheels.
10 wheels?
Yeah, we're planning on shooting 3 balls at a time, max.
3 wide.
Okay, so what's the purpose of shooting so many at a time? Are you afraid they're going to like miss the goal, or?
Well, we want to shoot so many at a time just to get balls in the furnace quicker.
Just to get rid of them so that we can go get another gear and just keep doing cycles. It's just basically to keep our cycle time down as low as we can get it.
Okay, cool. So let's go real quick. Let's talk a little bit about the hanger. What do you guys think about the hanger? I saw you guys had like your old collector hooked up some Velcro.
Yeah, we took the sticky side of Velcro with the hooks and attached it to our old climber from the robot from last year. And we created a rope, as you saw in the video.
Is it a rope or is it a rope?
It's paracord that's braided.
There's the first one that you saw in the one that you actually saw in the video is just Velcro braided in, but the one we have here is actually Velcro like sewed into the rope and then braided, so it's a lot stronger.
All right, cool. So can you tell me a little bit of how it worked? We saw it seemed to pick up pretty good. Did it continue to work, or what was the results of it?
Yeah, in the video, the climber wasn't fully put together. What we did like today or yesterday is we have this ratchet on it so it won't back up and fall down like you saw in the video, and it works very well.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to ask one really quickly about that gear thing we heard at the end. I think I heard a little Inception noise going on there too. You want to give us the skinny on what's going on with that thing?
So what we basically want to do is be able to pick up gears off the floor at any time. With we just be able to pick it up at anywhere on the field and use it to lift it up and place it on the spring that's on the ship.
So, okay, yeah, you can see that.
So it's an active collector that when we get close to the gear and suck it in with a roller, and it goes in to the collector, and then it lifts up, and we place it onto the spring.
Sweet. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that thing a little bit further developed next week. Because I think so far you guys have got a lot of shooting going down, but I'm really curious to see how you guys do the gears, because I think that'll be cool. So
Yeah, shooting for us is almost finalized.
Oh.
We're actually starting to CAD that right now.
cool. Well, that's
Little
great to hear. We'll definitely hear more about that next week. Maybe we can see some stuff from OnShape on the call. We'll take a look. But for now, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your build season to talk with everybody here and share with the FIRST community. So we're going to get ready for our next team coming up. Next up is team 3940. It's Cybertooth. They're from Indiana. So we're going to take a very, very, very short break, and then we're going to kick it to them. So hold on tight, everybody. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.